Let's hear the other side. Guys of Reddit, what's the creepiest thing a girl has ever said to you? Was talking to a girl on the phone who at the time was fricked up on painkillers and started relating to me a story about how when she was 7 she pushed a girl into a pool and watched her drown. Her grandma came home, found out about it, and told her to tell the police it was an accident. That should have been a warning sign right there. Copied from an email I received from a stalker 7 years ago. When you and her have your baby, rest assured, I'll be the one that raises it. Whoa, that's genuinely horrifying. When I was about 17 years old I worked at a cafeteria and some girls, 11 and 13, were chasing me for weeks. They even waited in front of my door when I had to go to work to chase me all the way up there. One day I was working and the cafeteria was full with people when the 11-year-old girl said, "When can I give you a BJ?" Everyone instantly looked at me. Uncomfortable isn't even the right word to describe my feelings at that moment. In 7 years. Then you put on your poker face and walk away. Making out with a girl I was seeing. Lightly slide my hand up her chest. And as my hand is going to caress her cheek, she grabs it around her neck and forces me to choke her, which is fine. She then proceeded to call out her brother's name. Was his name Allison? This happened to a friend of mine I was living with. I won't go into it, but the situation we were in demanded we shared a bunk bed. We had a rule that we could bring girls home so long as we kept the noise down. One night, whilst sleeping, my friend brings this girl home with him. I woke up to them coming in as they went up to his bunk to start messing around. I hear the typical stuff at first. Lip smacks, heavy breathing, some moaning. Then it happened. I hear the girl whisper to my friend the words, "Are you down with the funk?" In retrospect, my friend says he said yes because the chick was hot and he didn't want to ruin the night. So he says, "Yeah baby, I'm down with the funk for sure." Almost immediately the girl takes off her panties, stands up on the bunk, turns around, squats and shoots right on his chest. Luckily for him it wasn't the messy sort, but as you can imagine, the guy lost his crap. No pun intended. He tossed her off the bunk and started screaming for girl to get the frick out of his house. Meanwhile, I'm on the bottom bunk laughing my butt off. So, not really the creepiest thing a woman's ever said, but now you know what the funk is. I was over at her dorm room and, after we got done with our business, I spotted a bottle of my cologne on her desk. I asked her about it, and she said she sprayed it around to make her room smell like me. Okay, next week, she gets into my car, makes a big sneeze sound, and says, "Oh, smells like you in here." She started masturbating. No crap. En route to Kroger. Okay, few weeks later, at her dorm room, I decide to get a little nosy. I find the following. 1 aforementioned bottle of cologne. 2 pairs of my dirty undies, not left by me. 3 pair of my dirty socks again, not left by me. And this freaked me out more than anything for some reason. 4 envelope with, what I can only assume to be, drumroll, my pubes in it. Not okay. I break up with her over ICQ. The good old days. She informs me that she left a bag at my apartment. It's under my bed. In said bag is a bunch of completely random crap with Kmart tags still on it. It was obviously a plant, meant to force us to have an awkward post-breakup makeup reunion. Nay, says I. Got my army buddy to drive me over to her dorm in his Ford Festiva. I saw her on the curb, waiting, crying. I launched that bag out the window and we took off as fast as that Festiva would go. Never did see if the bag hit her butt. Given its trajectory, it's highly likely. For those who will want to know, the cologne I was wearing was Old Spice. Looks like you swan dived into the most awkward relationship of your life. Well, I've posted it before and I'll post it again. I want your meat tampon. Had to explain to her how that was not a turn on. Quick, throw a hot dog at her and run. I was dating a girl called Allison. My grandma is also called Allison. I had mentioned that I found it a little weird that they had the same name. So once as we were having sex she asked, "Does this make you think of your grandma?" It didn't. Until then. You got trolled. Had a girl grab my face in the middle of sex tell me it was okay if I came in her. Then grabbed my face and told me I know how to kill babies. Did she grab your face while grabbing your face or after? Did you enjoy that dinner? I put my blood in it. Now part of me is inside of you. Yes, this actually happened. I thought she meant she put a lot of work into it, like blood, sweat, and tears, and asked her, and she showed me the cut she made to bleed herself into the dinner. I once went to a ski resort where people of different nationalities were there. A young Chinese girl introduced herself to me the day I was leaving and asked for my number, so I gave it to her. She called me about a week later and asked me if I wanted to go over to her place for a dinner party. I thought to myself, sure, why not? So I turn up with some booze and find about 24 young Chinese girls and no guys. None of the girls spoke any English except the girl who invited me. They sat me down at the end of a table, spoke in Chinese all night while looking in my direction, and giggled all the way through. I had no idea what they were saying. At the end of the night, the hostess asked me if I would be so kind to pose for individual photos with each one of them separately. I hesitated, but went along with it. They giggled hysterically throughout, and still only spoke Chinese. No idea WTF that was all about, but I got seriously creeped out. I got this. Foreign students in a local university, who have all told their family and friends back home they have an American, replace with WE country you're in, boyfriend, decide to work together to trick the people back home by getting a random average guy to pose in pictures with them, treat him to a nice dinner. If I got pregnant, I'd just drink enough to kill the baby, because I'm not ready to have a kid yet. One of my friends, she was 14 at the time, and that's what she did. Worked every time. Had a girl request me to break into her apartment, make her hot chocolate in her kitchen, while she's scared in her bedroom, and then come in and have sex. Stick it in my butt, baby. Starts to insert it. Ow. What the F is wrong with you? I was just trying to turn you on. Sorry, I stop. What are you doing? Keep going. Yes, stick it in my butt. You just told me not to. You're supposed to just rape it. Oh, 0. I had a girl I once kissed at a party proceed to send me pictures of her crying, half naked and makeup smeared all over her face, Joker style. She won't stop calling me or sending random pictures of herself with distressed or angry face. This has been going on for 3 months now. I think your friend may have actually been kidnapped and you're missing the requests for ransom at the bottom of the messages. This is a toss-up between look at these before showing me hundreds of bits of paper the girl had written my name on, over and over again, when we'd been out once, or the time I woke up from a lovely sexy times dream, to find my GF gripping my dong and asking me over and over again, who do you think I am? Tell me your secrets, penis. A friend of mine declared her love for me by saying, if I knew that by killing myself, I would be born again as a pretty woman, I would do it, so that you would love me, but if that would happen, she would be born as a baby, and babies are gross. Impeccable logic. Do you want all your stuff back? After we broke up, I had not given her anything. She had stolen it all over time. She had it couriered to me. We then ended up having sexy talk a few months later over email. I found out later that it was her sister mailing. In the stuff she sent back was a photo album entirely filled with pictures of me sleeping. Good times. I had to read it twice. I was having sex with a girl I knew and she starts shouting my best friend's name, then the names of 3 other men I didn't know. It creeped me out beyond belief, so I told her I was done. She climbed off me, started pleasing herself and moaning her own name while glaring at me over her shoulder. We were on a lot of drugs and it was the worst night of my life. Haven't spoken to her since. I had to borrow a girl's computer once for a group project in college. I got to the group meeting and there was a password. I called her and after 10 minutes she finally gave me the password, which was her first name and my last name. I think that's kinda cute. Wife and I were in town with our son visiting my parents when an old high school friend, she was only ever a friend, came by to meet my wife and 2-year-old son. After we all sat and talked for a few hours and after what felt like a pretty normal night of company, we all got up to say goodnight and the friend hugged my wife goodbye, then turned to me, grasped me very firmly into a hug, kissed me on the lips, then whispered into my ear, your son should have been ours. I love you, then turned like it was totally normal and waved goodbye to us and left. My wife didn't see or hear any of it and I never told her. She thinks the girl is a decent person and we'll never see her again. After hooking up with a girl several times, I had run out of condoms. The time came again to do the deed and I had not restocked. She said it was okay, so not being one to argue, I proceeded. After I finished, she turned around and said, "You made a Barbie." Not directly to me, but a friend of mine's mom referred to me as a tasty little snack when I was 15. And no, she was not a MILF, not even close. As a daughter of this kind of mom, I would like to make a blanket apology to all of the dudes that have been harassed by raspy-voiced wrinkly cougar moms. They really think they're being cute, and sometimes he boys don't mind, but I cannot even imagine that scenario happening with a father and teen girl. Creepy. I went to a football game with this girl. Afterwards, I went to meet her dad, which was already kind of weird. He said to her, "Is this the boy you've been talking about for the past 3 months?" I had known the girl for 4 days. I had a drunk girl forcefully attempt to pretty much have sex with me because she wanted to see if a gay guy could frick a girl. The entire time she kept saying, "I just want to see if it works," while she tried to climb on top of me. Pretty freaking creepy awkward if you ask me. So I did this chick that lived near me, only a few times over a few days. She got really attached to the point of freaky, so I backed off. Within a month she was at a mental institution. 2 weeks after that she gets back and happens to be sitting with her mom outside when I got home from work, so I could either ignore her completely or interact. I greeted them nicely and asked how she was, not mentioning where she just was. She stared at me for like a minute straight with the most blank creepy face I've ever seen and finally said something. "Are you the one that was controlling my mind? Gwatfo. I want to rape you and want you to yell crying me mommy. I crap you not," she said that. I still live in the same apartment building as her. At this point, enough women have threatened to rape me that I assumed it was a normal conversation opener. I can't believe I just typed that sentence. I was about to try to reassure you, but I think I need to review my friends list. I can poop bigger than you can, as she began dropping her pants. To be fair, we were only 3 or 4 years old at the time, behind my parents' garage. And though I lost that contest, I married her years later and have since upped my game. I was literally almost inside of this girl and some sexy talk is going on and she whispers, "You know why I've always liked you?" I asked why and she said, "You remind me of my dad." I still banged her, but I didn't call her for a while after that. I still banged her. Good man. Girl I had slept with 2 times, without knowing her or her friends. We were neighbors. "My friends saw you at Bar X on Saturday. I thought you said you weren't going out. How did they know it was me? I never met any of your friends. They've seen pictures." "Pictures of what?" "Of you sleeping in a big group of people." "Could I have some vodka?" "You've had way too much." "I'll suck your dong for some vodka." "I'm good. I'll do it anyway." I'm 20. A pretty, sort of rock and roll 24-year-old girl asks me out at the spring this past summer. I say yes. We have a decent date. She says she's leaving the next morning for New York City for a month's time. I figure this means she wants purely to use me for sex because she asks to come over at 12:30 at night and has been out drinking with friends. I say yes. She comes over. We have sex. She was uncoordinated and spoke atrocities while we did this awfully clumsy mushing. The worst I've ever experienced. Blame on her behalf. After, I expect her to leave because she's verbalized that she has a flight at 10 AM. But no, she lingers. For hours. Until well past 5 AM. I can't bring myself to hint that she should leave, so I go with it. Lying naked next to me, breaking a long silence of hours in which I've fallen asleep. She wakes me and says, "When I was 15 years old, demons would try and enter my spirit, my soul, late at night while I slept. It wasn't sleep paralysis." I know, so you can imagine the terror as my eyes grew wide and I grew rigid, staring at the ceiling above me in the blackened room. She continues, "They succeeded once, and I became possessed. I couldn't control myself. I started hurting myself and becoming sexually violent. Sometimes I think they're coming back for me. I want you to hurt me so they can't." I had to kindly show her out after explaining that I was growing much too uncomfortable. The worst part, I wake up the next morning and inspect the condom we had used, now lying on the floor. As I pick it up to trash it, part of why the sex felt strange was that there was some texture I felt unfamiliar. Blood everywhere. It had just been overlooked the night prior due to my bedspread being all black. Frick, the blood. So, a girl had a crush on me. One morning when I came home to my place there was a bag hanging on my front door. I bring it inside and see what's in it. I find a new set of pencils. There was also a spoon that you use to feed babies along with a bottle of baby food. A tiny pink hair clip I'd imagine a 9-year-old girl might wear. A 3-page letter telling me the letter was written by a Polish girl who just moved into town. She called herself Tatiana Donksrit and she wanted to meet new people in town. So she asked if I wished to bake doppelganger cookies with her down by an abandoned warehouse at the docks. Yes, that is what she wrote. Then as the letter progressed the text looked more and more as if someone wrote it while driving a bike. At the end of the letter it was more like random words. Later that same week someone tried to open my door in the middle of the night. Then another week passed and I get a visit at 5 in the morning from some staff from a home nearby where she apparently lived. They told me they found her sleeping in my bushes and that she had run away every night for the last 2 weeks and that she was very ill at the time. They gave me a number to call in case of an emergency. I did not sleep well that following month. Hold on, stop. That's my husband calling. The husband that she said she divorced from who was overseas in Iraq. She wanted me to wait in silence until after the phone call to get right back at it. Stood by the door the whole time too, to make sure I didn't leave. Nope. Special Cambodian spice. It didn't sound creepy at the time, but I'd asked my wife of 25 years what the unusual black seasoning on the meal she'd just given me was. Turned out, it was a pharmaceutical in the class of beta blockers. By pure luck I ate only maybe 1/10 of the amount present, rather than all of it. An hour later I nearly died, weak and intermittent heartbeat. A few months before she'd got me to take out life insurance. Beta blockers in more than tiny amounts stop the heart. Looks like a natural heart attack. She's Cambodian BTW. My first girlfriend, read-only girlfriend, found me packing my crap to get pho and pulled a sword on me, like a real katana. Said if I packed another freaking thing she would cut off my head and keep it in a jar. I very carefully explained that I was just moving things. All was well. I hugged the psycho, then left in the dead of night and spent the rest of the night at the train station till I could get the heck out of Dodge. For the next 6 months she sent me nightly messages on various websites accusing me of being a demon and attacking her while she slept in the dream world, and I should be careful because she was going to fight back with witchcraft. Then she recruited other crazies, and they were saying the same crap. There was this army of her and a bunch of underage girls, one of which was apparently my then 23-year-old ex-girlfriend's new true love, waging internet war on me for being an evil dream demon and trying to take over the dream world. Since then, yeah, pretty much double rainbow gay. Dudes aren't freaking insane, and when they are you can tell pretty easily. I don't like the dong, but if that happened to me, I might suck one just to be sure. Chatted with a girl on Ike for a few days back in the day. One day we were chatting and she said that I looked sad on the bus this morning. I found half a bag of toenail clippings in her closet and when I confronted her about it, she said yeah, I like to save them for later when I want a midnight snack. I got the frick out of there, needless to say. In a bar, 2 AM, I am heavily tattooed. Girl, I have a tattoo too. Me oh yeah. Then she unbuttons her jeans and pulls one side down. Oops, my pee ate it. Over at the apartment of some girl I knew from wherever and basically there to just have sex. Just going through the formalities of acting like we're not. She pulls out a photo album. First and ever page. A miscarried baby, dressed up in a bonnet on a silk pillow. I actually found it reassuring that the pictures weren't just thrown in with other family photos. 4th of July at Uncle Ted's, Labor Day, dead baby, dead baby, dead baby, Thanksgiving, dead baby's first Halloween, Catwoman, of course, Christmas after that crazy blizzard on MT, Hood, dead baby, ski trip. Ex-GF of almost a year, who I thought had moved away, bombarded me at work one day and said, Look what I did for you. Will you take me back now? She had the Chinese characters for I love you and my initials tattooed on her arm. I would have to say when a girl I barely knew figured out my class schedule, she would leave me letters in sealed envelopes, giving them to my teachers to give to me. Not me, but a friend heard this from his ex-girlfriend. I cut all my boyfriend's names into my arm. I added yours yesterday. In junior high, over AIM, a girl who was quiet and I always thought normal messages me, "I'm going to rape you on the bathroom floor." That was probably worse than the "I am going to stab you tomorrow at school" that she said a few days after. 0 stab wounds. Still haven't been raped. It's been a good life. The amount of stab wounds and rapes in my life is how I quantify my success as a person. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.